Hi, I'm August Keller, and this is my review of How to Train Your Dragon 2025. So, How to Train Your Dragon is competent plagiarism. In isolation, it's driven by the protagonist and his relationships, which are, this endearing friendship, earned romance, and a father-son conflict that culminates in satisfying arcs. It has proficient themes about otherism, and this all buoys a formulaic, though structured plot. There's setup payoff, good rising action with high points and low points, and charismatic, albeit overly light, acting. All that sounds good, right? However, the script is tarnished by being a inferior retread born out of commercialism. It's scene for scene a movie that has been done before. And so this in particular directly undermines the story, especially a story whose main strength is its heart. It's supposed to be this heartfelt, touching, tender thing. But with that fact that it's, a cash grab in the back of my mind, it really directly undermines that heartfeltness. So, consequently, How to Train Your Dragon's reasonable writing carries an unfortunate stink. In isolation, sure, these things are, it's a competent, solid story, but that story has been told already, and it's openly, blatantly copying that story. Technically, How to Train Your Dragon struggles to solidify the effortless tone of its predecessor. And I think that is a good example of how this movie really, comes off like a copy rather than something of its own. There are plenty of stories out there that have been done over and over again. Shakespeare, Robin Hood, things like that. But each time they're, the better ones at least, are made their own in some way. And this movie just feels like it's doing the movie before it, but just a little bit different. And it's it doesn't feel like it's coming from a voice. It's coming from how do I reconcile those two things? How far is too far one way or the other? It feels like a boardroom made it, not an artist. So, technically, let's break down why. Despite there's some glowing lighting, or like glow lighting, the cinematography is more defined by muted colors, I would say. I was surprised how bland it is, and I don't understand why they keep doing this with these animated remakes. Disney has been catching a lot of trouble for this, and you would think that maybe DreamWorks would learn from that lesson, but the editing has good structure, but I did find the set pieces to be a bit overcut. And I did find the editing, the momentum to be okay. Mediocre almost. Genre elements like fantasy and action and bookended voiceovers and some subjective silence fill the soundscape, so that's good. The music reinforces the epic setting, though I didn't find it to be anything particularly new. And the cast contributes good fit, but underwhelming fame. There is some diversity, but that's really around the edges. The CGI creates detailed creatures, like Toothless looks great, but wonky environments. So the background, the green screening, often I found not very good. And the production design, sometimes it sets a strong sense of place, especially when it's tangible, like tangible built sets or like on location. But sometimes it's digital and it looks very bland, like what I was saying with the green screening. There's a good amount of green screening, and for some reason they decided to make that look not so great a lot of the time. And also with the production design, I found the realism to clash with its animated roots. I've said this about the Disney remakes as well, but Toothless looks like a cartoon character dropped into a movie that's supposed to be live action, and that this movie worked better as an animated movie, and now they're just trying to switch mediums without really changing anything else about it, and I think that awkwardness comes across in the production design. So ultimately, I found How to Train Your Dragon to be inconsistent. There's a lot of things I like about it, or respect about the filmmaking in a vacuum, but it's hard for me to really give it credit. Like especially when it comes to the writing, when it's basically copying another movie that has been proven to be good, and not because it has something new to put onto it or spin on it. It's just because they want to do it again. So yeah, it's a competent movie, but I do think the commercialism of it is hard for me to get past. So that's all I have to say about that. If you like what I'm doing here, please feel free to like and subscribe. I also have an Instagram linked in the description. I'd love support there or here, whatever you can do, I appreciate. And at the very least, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay, thanks. Bye.